let's get to this video though, because Andrew Tate apparently he has proof that he was set up for when it comes to his recent allegations, I believe. Something about two girls that he slept with, that's saying that's now claiming that he raped them because apparently he didn't want to buy a Birkin bag for them after the deed was done. But I think that's I believe that's what I heard. But here, let me check. Let me show you. Let me show you. This is actually like a fucking reaction to a reaction almost. But anyway, Andrew Tate has proof he was set up by mediocre tutorials and reviews. But hold on, if he's got proof, then I don't know, man. Because now it's like people are just trying to attack him for any reason. Because he's already on like a chopping block, right? He's already known for being for being Andrew Tate, and he's already has his reputation, especially since he went to prison for a bit, while he was being charged with quote unquote nothing. That he said, at least that's what he said. But yeah, they didn't have any evidence on him, so they had to let him go. He was on house arrest for a while. Then I don't know. I think that one's over. I don't even remember what happened with that one, to be honest. I heard it. I heard it was done, or it's still going. I don't know. But then another charge popped up, and so I guess since he wouldn't buy them a Birkin, then it would be easy for them to label him as a rapist because he's already kind of has that reputation about him. But apparently, he has proof that he was set up, or at least if that's what this is referring to, unless there's something else that he did that would be referring to that. But anyway, links in the description. Let's get it.
The girl who initially accused my brother and I of human trafficking 3.5 years ago has just admitted to DCAW that she was paid in advance before she made the police report $100,000 to make the report, and the money came from a USAID-funded NGO.
Guys, we gotta have a discussion.
USA funded NGO. Hold up. First off, I just know USA funded. That's all I know. NGO, I'm not really sure. So I want to double check. Non-governmental organization. USA funded though. The USA funded non-government. Maybe they just didn't want it attached to the government, and so they just make a non-governmental organization, and then they fund that organization to do whatever it is, to do the deed that Andrew Tate is talking about. So he's referring to his other charges. And now someone's come out and said that about the sex trafficking and shit. So now someone's come out and said that she was paid to say that. Okay.
Here today, emergency meeting. Andrew Tate just released a little bit of information on his Twitter that we need to go over. Ever since we saw Andrew Tate from the past couple of years, say 4 or so years ago, he's always talked about the Matrix, the puppeteers and the puppet strings and who's controlling what. And a lot of his platform has been about uncovering the truth and removing the Matrix wool over people's eyes. We're also talking about masculinity shit, red flags and women, like all these different things. But he's always done so in a manner to maintain his innocence from the allegations against him. Okay. You don't remember, or you've been living under a rock. He had allegations of trafficking. They sent him to jail for, I think it was like 4 or 5 months or something like that. He's been out for, I believe, a little over a year now, but it has significantly hampered his life. He was removed all over social media from having different accounts and platforms. The only place that I've seen him consistently able to do his own content is on Twitter. And he just dropped this massive.
Thanks to Elon Musk, obviously. But shit, bro. Like, if he's got proof that he's actually innocent, like he had to spend 4 or 5 months in jail, have his life, turned topsy-turvy, all these allegations coming after him, and all these labels being put on him. And well, obviously he's still a fucking millionaire, so it's not like he, lost his job or anything. But that would have happened too if he was just like a regular guy. But shit, a regular guy might not even survive all this. You know, like they might not have gotten out on bail or whatever if it was just some unknown regular guy and they just wanted to get rid of him. Anyway,
bomb. So let's just get down up in here. Again, this is directly from his Twitter. Let me make this full screen. Actually, this view looks a lot better. Let's go.
The girl who initially accused my brother and I of human trafficking 3.5 years ago has just admitted to DCAW that she was paid in advance before she made the police report, $100,000 to make the report, and the money came from a USAID-funded NGO designed to combat human trafficking. Why would you pay somebody before they make a police report $100,000 to combat human trafficking?
And paid to say that and paid to put those charges on you, paid to say that you did those things, those accusations, those allegations. Damn, but why him? I mean, now he's definitely gonna say this is it. It's why the reason why is because he was, you know, trying to get people to break out of the matrix, or, you know, trying to help boys become men the right way, or the message that he was spreading. You could say it. You could say it was that. So it's like he's literally gonna say like it was a matrix attack, because technically he'd be right. That's kind of damn.
Unless you were actually trying to set us up. She then admits that after she took the money, she flew here, made the police report, and after only 3 days in Romania, she was flown to the south of France. The flights, hotels, and budget for her stay there was all paid for by the same NGO. And we have the fucking paperwork.
God damn.
Oh.
The girl who initially accused...
Let's pause on the track real quick. If this is true, and I want to go through whatever paperwork that he's talking about, hopefully before he even made this, he posted that paperwork somewhere on websites that can be easily accessed. But if this is true, this is so damn crazy and perfectly demonstrates this matrix that Andrew has always maintained. Let's listen.
Yeah, because I mean, excuse me. You could say before all this, people were obviously making fun and being like, "Oh, it's the Matrix attack," blah, 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 obviously. But once he actually, if like this is true, this is actually actual proof of what he's been saying is real. And it's like, oh shit, he was right this whole time. What else has he been right about? So for him, this is big. Like this could flip people's opinion about him again, type shit. Probably not. Probably at least, especially not in women's point of view, but still.
So one more time and talk about each of the points.
The girl who initially accused my brother and I of human trafficking 3.5 years ago has just admitted to DCAW that she was paid in advance before she made the police report, $100,000 to make the report, and the money came from a USAID-funded NGO designed to combat human trafficking.
Again, if he has the paperwork of her admitting all of this, then that is a damn bombshell. A couple questions that I have initially is not only who is this NGO organization, but then also what would make her, I guess, accept it at first and then 3.5 years later just snitch it all away. This right here is the government.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Why would she snitch it all away? Like, did she run out of money and she asked the government for more, or she asked the NGO for more? Just because like she expected to be able to extract more funds out of them and have them, you know, fund her lifestyle for a while, especially if she threatened to come out with the truth. And I guess maybe I don't know, but that's just speculation. And maybe she actually tried it, but the NGO wasn't gonna budge and wasn't gonna, or maybe they did for a while, but after eventually stopped giving her money. And then she's like, all right, well, if you're not gonna give me any more money, then I'm gonna go ahead and say and spill and snitch. And they're like, no, you're not. And she did it anyway. It's Andrew Tate news and yeah, bro. Apparently the shit that happened 3 years ago, this chick is saying that she was paid in advance to make those allegations against Andrew Tate. about the sex trafficking and shit like that. And she was paid by an NGO, which is a non-governmental organization, but that NGO is funded by the U.S. So this like the guy in the video, like this guy said, MTR is perfectly well, I don't know, I guess it's not just like what he said, but this perfectly shows. It's a perfect example of the matrix that Andrew Tate has been talking about. That's what he said. Roughly.
Government-funded NGO. By the way, NGO stands for non-governmental organization. They're typically mission-driven organizations, generally in the nonprofit sector. And by the way, a U.S. government-funded NGO put me in a report about hate, calling me a male supremacist. I was #2 male supremacist for content creators creating content for men about hating women. And if you go through the data that they accumulated, I mean, I already got videos debunking all of the bullshit that they tried to say. Long story short, they're absolutely liars, and they're incentivized by whatever bullshit mission that they just make up within their heads. Usually, at first glance, it appears that they're trying to do things, you know, well-intentioned, but when you get down into the nuts and the bolts of how it is that they're either collecting data or utilizing funds, funky things come up.
They're just trying to make sure that they paint a picture that they want their followers to be able to believe, because they have, if they have followers, supporters, they have to produce some type of results in their favor, and so they're not afraid to stoop to lying and making up stories, and well, obviously paying a woman to go and put false charges and allegations or false claims on Andrew Tate. Like, damn, bro, that's messed up. That's messed up.
Nevertheless, this is their page, La Strada International. This is the page on human trafficking, and they got some notes here. I actually found a YouTube video as well. Let's see if we can view a little bit just to learn a little bit more. Can you imagine that if they paid her money
in human beings is a gross
before the police report?
Rights. People are exploited, violated, and abused in sectors such as
for a trafficked person, really getting back the dignity and the recognition of the fact that they lost wages, that they lost health, that they lost livelihood through the process of being exploited and trafficked.
Okay, so they pay trafficked victims.
Compact is an initiative by La Strada International and Anti-Slavery International to bring access to justice and guarantee compensation for trafficked persons. Compact is a coalition of partners in 14 countries, NGOs that provide direct services to trafficked persons and give them shelter and assistance, but also with lawyers, with trade unions, with migrant rights organizations. We all work together to guarantee compensation for trafficked persons.
The right to compensation is there. It is already foreseen by international instruments, national legislation, and nobody would deny that a victim of a serious crime is entitled to compensation. But the real
if the crime was committed,
does not happen.
It's very clear that
I think she was speaking as if the crime was all committed. Like, she said the victim of a very serious crime. That's why I was like, yeah. But I get what he's saying. If the crime was actually committed and not just say so or hearsay.
State has all states have obligation to ensure that at domestic level that it is possible for victims of trafficking to obtain compensation. This is a right. It should be right, and it's a right, and it's not a charity, and it's something that states must respect. Is it happening? Of course, it's not happening now.
Compensation is
Is it happening? Of course, it's not happening now. But okay, yeah, I get what they're saying, that victims of trafficking should receive some sort of compensation. I agree, but like paying someone to make up false charges on somebody else just because you don't like the message that person is saying has nothing to do with what your group actually does. Now, obviously, you can the false charges that you had her say, that has something to do with your group. But like trying to use a man that's was at one point the most talked about man on the internet, trying to use him in order to, or trying to destroy him in order to give yourself your movement a push is severely underhanded. That's just underhanded tactics. But like I guess like the Bible says, the truth will set you free. And Andrew Tate's a Christian man, so yeah, the truth eventually came out, and it looks like it's setting him free. What's gonna happen to this organization though? Are they gonna have to like, if everything that Andrew Tate says is true, is this organization is found guilty for doing those, or taking those acts? Like, are they gonna have to like dismantle? Are they gonna have to like break apart? Is the organization ruined? Because it sounds like they had good intentions, but then they're also trying to hide behind their good intentions and use their power for wrong things, or incriminate people they don't like just because they don't like them.
An obligation is a right for the victim, but first an obligation for the states. It is Article 15, paragraph 4, which makes an obligation to the state parties to the convention to guarantee the compensation of the victims of trafficking.
Okay, so this is actually very interesting. And again, like I said before, like on the surface, this all makes sense, right? You have a trafficked person and you want to give some type of compensation for the harm that they suffered, or them being out of job, right? That makes perfect sense. But it seems as though these organizations can apply for funding, right, receive sponsorship, but there's no look into the individual processes of how things are happening. Because at this stage, I'm either thinking either the girl was a fraud from the beginning and got in touch with this organization in an attempt to get money, claiming that Andrew Tate trafficked her, and then they just initiated the process with little to no evidence, supporting evidence, proof that it actually happened.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that they did that, because like there's so many other times that so many other examples in history that women could have just gone and said that a man has done something without any proof, and cops will just believe it and go straight in on the man, and without even it becomes guilty until proven innocent for men.
Or there's some like deep cover shit where there's a secret 007 agent that's like paying people behind closed doors, and the front is this at least at first glance, well-intentioned organization, and they're getting men caught up all over the world, and just one of their last ones or the latest ones was Andrew Tate, paying people to make these allegations to stop certain men from continuing to rise. Say whatever that you want about the Tate brothers.
Not just continuing to rise, but like continuing to spread a message that they didn't like, a message that they didn't agree with, message that was harmful to their own movement. And so they chose to go with some underhanded tactics to try to paint this man in a terrible light and ruin this man's life and have him put in behind bars for something that he didn't actually do. That's fucked up. This kind of thing should, like, people who do these kind of things should face some type of punishment, because it's like you tried to ruin someone else's life, so shouldn't your life be ruined in return? That seems fair to me.
Agree with them, don't agree, love them, hate them. The one thing that we can agree on is that if this is true, this shit ain't right.
Why would you pay somebody before they make a police report $100,000 to combat human trafficking unless you were actually trying to set us up? She then admits that after she took the money, she flew here, made the police report, and after only 3 days in Romania, she was flown to the south of France. The flights, hotels, and budget for her stay there was all paid for by the same NGO.
Yo, that is so crazy. The timing of this is ridiculous. Why would the NGO pay her prior to the police report? How would the NGO already have the funds to set up flights and hotels? How would all of this shit takes time, and it should take evidence. It should take police reports. It should take judges. It should take a lot more than that. But yet again, another example of the government utilizing tax dollars to fund bullshit. They just give the money away, our hard-earned money, for these NGOs to just make shit up. Think about how crazy it is for someone like me to get allegations of like a male supremacist, which is like the cousin of a white supremacist. But I'm not white, so they can't say white supremacist. But
I guess just saying black supremacists wouldn't actually, wouldn't actually do much, because I guess there's no real history of black supremacists doing some terrible shit. But still, like he's got a point. Like, I don't know, he ended up on that list, that the governmental list about content creators who are spreading hate towards women or something like that. That's fucked. I mean, that's messed up. And then what they did to the Andrew Tate is even worse, bro. Like, so it basically, if you're doing something the government doesn't like, the government can feel free to come after you in any way, shape, or form while trying to hide the fact that they're doing it.
How crazy
that's the matrix that Andrew Tate keep talking about.
It is. How they can pick certain people to try to hate. They can pick certain people to try to remove. They can make up shit to take certain people down, or at least try to. But just as Andrew has always said, if he ever ends up dead, he didn't kill himself.
Yeah, because he said there was going to be like three steps, right? First, they blame you for something, then they put you in jail for something you didn't do, and then they kill you, right? I think that's what he kept saying. That's why he started saying, well, after he got out of the jail, he started saying if he ever ends up dead, he didn't kill himself. That probably, let's be fair, him saying that all the time may have saved his life. We don't know.
The fucking paperwork.
Man, the level of lawsuit here, if true, actually makes me uncomfortable. Hopefully, they are currently consulting with the best lawyers that their money has access to not only clear their names, but also send a clear message that people shouldn't be fucked with like this. This NGO was funded by the United States Agency for International Development, which again is so damn crazy. And we don't need like a government organization investigating yet another government organization. That's like, you investigate yourself and find that you did no wrongdoing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it needs to be an outside third party consultant, somebody to get up in there to understand exactly what this is and how it could have gone wrong. What do? They're a U.S. Agency for International Development, is the principal U.S. agency that provides civilian foreign aid and development assistance to countries around the world. Its work focuses on a range of areas, including economic growth, global health, education, humanitarian assistance, and advancing U.S. foreign policy goals.
Yeah, real quick, how do you combat something like that? Because, I mean, like, Andrew Tate got lucky because this chick came out and confessed that she was paid to do this, paid in advance before making the report and everything like that. What if this type of shit happens to somebody else and the person that they was paid to do that never comes forth? And like, what if that person's life, the other person's life gets screwed over? What if they're not as lucky as Andrew Tate? Damn, bro. Like, how do you combat something like that? That's gotta like cause damage to your lifestyle, to your life and your lifestyle that you can't undo, you know? Bridges will be burned, relationships destroyed, jobs lost, careers tarnished. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's messed up.
Listen, I'm gonna stop the video right here. Guys, you let me know what you think about this update. Did you think that Andrew was innocent?
Well, bet. It's a good video. I'm actually surprised. I'm very surprised because I didn't really have an opinion about, whether he did it or not. I was just kind of watching. That's what I do. I'm a watcher. I'd be judging, but I also just be watching. Obviously you need to wait until the entire event is over, which can take several years before you make a judgment. And now we're finding out that it's possible that Andrew Tate was just set up for that for all those accusations he took. We always be watching. Hell yeah, we always be watching. Watchers. But yeah, so it looks, yeah, if this comes out to be true, damn, man. Now people are really gonna be talking about like, oh yeah, that whole Matrix shit is real. But anyway, let me know what y'all think about it in the comments below. I guess also let MTR know what you think about his video in his comments below. Link to his channel and link to his video will both be in the description below, so be sure to check him out. And you know what it is after that, in case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace. Much love to you.